Been about 15 minutes.
Can I help you?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Hey, aren't you that actor, Jack Elam? I saw you in that movie, Home Security Survey. We saw that at our neighborhood watch meeting last week. What brings you here?
Well, we're making another film, and you just helped set the stage for it by showing that in this neighborhood, somebody's watching. This is your neighborhood. Day in and day out, people are coming and going. Some by foot, some faster than others, some by car, and some by other means of transportation. Get to know what the normal activity is in your neighborhood. You know, what people you expect to see around, what cars to expect, what homes should be vacant because a neighbor's on vacation, who's moving out and who's moving in. See, by knowing what's normal, you'll know what's abnormal and what's suspicious. You owe it to yourself and your family and your neighbors to be suspicious. Now, don't get crazy about it. Just keep your eyes and your ears open. Be alert. And not just at night, but during the daytime too. Even though you and I don't expect it, most burglaries are committed during daylight hours on weekdays when homes are most likely to be empty and people are less cautious. Now, this fellow may look innocent enough, but he's a typical burglar. Most are under 25, and almost half are under 18. Now, he looks like he fits right into the neighborhood because he probably lives not too far away. He's not a skilled, professional burglar. He may be stealing to pay for a bag of marijuana or some harder drug he's addicted to. Or he may steal just for the kicks of it. Let's look at some different types of activities that should make you suspicious and that should be reported. Now, some things are pretty obvious, like someone trying to enter a house by a window or a side door. Unless, of course, it's your neighbor and he lost his key. Like a stranger going into someone's backyard or side yard. Like someone tampering with a neighbor's car. Or anyone carrying a weapon. Now, sure, it might be someone with a valid reason for carrying a gun, like a watchman or even an undercover law enforcement officer. But then again, it might not. You should also watch for someone taking valuables out of a neighbor's home, particularly if you know the family isn't at home. The burglar may even be using a legitimate-looking van or a repair company vehicle. See, burglars have a lot of nerve, but that shouldn't come as a surprise. Remember, they don't want to look suspicious. They want to look like they belong in the neighborhood. And watch for strangers hanging around in front of a home or sitting in a vehicle. Maybe a burglary is going on inside and this person's the lookout. Or maybe there's a strange car on the street with a motor running. Could be a getaway vehicle. Watch for a person running down the street, particularly if they're carrying some valuables, or a car driving slowly down the street. Be suspicious if it comes around again and again and again. See, a stranger might be casing the neighborhood for places to burglarize. Or this might be a pickup car for a burglar who's at work inside somebody's house or apartment right now. Be alert, too, for sounds that aren't normal. Is it a wild party? Or someone who needs help? Car backfiring? Or a gunshot? A neighbor dropping some trash? Or a burglar breaking a glass window? Is it your neighbor next door making an old fence into firewood? or a burglar kicking in his door. See, you never know for sure, but you can be suspicious. Now take this situation, for example. You've noticed a stranger in a car on your street. He's been there quite a while. Maybe he's a friend of one of your neighbors and everything's okay. Maybe not. The first thing to do is get the license number and a description of the car. Then let the stranger know he's being watched. See, thieves like to be anonymous. They're afraid of being seen so they can be identified later to the law. Establish eye contact. Smile. Be friendly. This recognition alone may scare him off. If he smiles back and you feel comfortable, approach him. Go see if he needs help.
Hey, can I help you?
Now you've got a good close-up look, you'll be able to identify him later if necessary, and he knows it.
No, I'm just resting. I've had a long drive, and I'll be going in a few moments.
Another thing you can do if you don't want to talk to the stranger is to let him see you write down his license number or some other identifying information. See, if he doesn't belong there, this will frighten him away and keep him away. Now, even if you decide it's not necessary to call the law, you hold on to the information. See, if something happens later in the neighborhood, you can give a description of the car and driver to the police or sheriff's department. You should be suspicious of people going door to door in your neighborhood. And if they do come to your door, don't hesitate to ask for identification. And be especially leery if they hang around the neighborhood for a long time. Or even more so if they wander around the outside of houses, or the inside or outside of apartment buildings. Now, phone calls can be suspicious too. How about this one?
Hello?
Hello, this is the Acme Marketing Research Company. We're doing a survey on consumer buying trends. I wonder if you could tell me if you've recently purchased any of the following items. A home computer?
Sorry, I can't help you. But have a good day.
Hey, that's a nice touch. How about this situation?
Hello?
I'm sorry, I got the wrong number.
If you get several suspicious wrong number calls or calls where the person hangs up without talking, it might be a burglar trying to find out if there's somebody home. Make notes on the times of the calls. Now, if these calls keep up for several days and you think there's a pattern, call the police or sheriff's department. You might also want to call the phone company and get your number changed. Maybe even get an unlisted number. Whenever you become aware of any suspicious activity around your home or your neighborhood, don't hesitate. Call the law. You may help prevent a crime or catch a suspect. 10 times more arrests come from neighbors' reports than from any other. And when you call, first of all, keep calm and give them all the necessary details.
Hello, my name is Donna Lee. I live at 1662 Cheney Lane. My phone number is 462-9100. I'd like to report some suspicious activity outside my house.
Give the dispatcher all the details you can about the situation. A full description of the suspicious persons and any vehicles that are involved. And answer any questions the dispatcher asks, but report only what you know. And stay on the line till the dispatcher tells you to hang up. Now, once the law enforcement agency has the necessary information, it's up to them to decide what action is necessary.
Vibrant and Cliff.
We're going to dispatch a patrol car right away. Please stay on the line and let me know if the suspect leaves. If he does, tell me which direction he's headed in, okay?
Okay, I will.
Now, sometimes when you call to report suspicious activity, the agency may not be able to respond right away.
I'm sorry, Mr. Franklin, but all of our cars are tied up right now. Could you give me a description of the person so that I can enter it on our activity log?
Sure, I've got the information right here.
Good, that way I can give it to the officer for your area as soon as he's available.
See, the dispatcher has to consider the priorities and the urgency of the calls coming in. There's always a limit on the manpower that's available at any given time. And then, too, there are the frequent callers. Usually people that are just lonely or maybe somebody just looking for attention. And the agency can't be expected to respond every time.
The important thing to remember is that, even if we can't come out right away, we still consider your call important. It may help us solve a case we don't even know about, maybe a crime that happens the next day. Don't get discouraged. We always want you to report when you suspect someone or something that doesn't look right in your neighborhood.
Some citizens hesitate to make law enforcement reports because they're worried about lawsuits for false arrest or harassment or defamation of character, some other legal complaint. But don't you hesitate. If you report someone for acting suspiciously, a peace officer will have the right to stop and question the person. And they won't use your name. But they can't arrest that person unless they have some evidence that a crime has been committed. At any rate, unless you choose to make a citizen's arrest, you're not at any risk for a lawsuit. Now, sometimes before contacting the law, you may want to do some additional checking yourself. But only if there's no danger involved. Take this situation, for example. You see some activity in a home that you know should be vacant. The family's on vacation. Now, maybe a relative has a key and they've come to pick up the mail or check the house. Or maybe not. Now, here's a trick you can try. Call a neighbor's house. You should have a list of the numbers for everyone on your block. If no one answers the phone, that's a clue that there's trouble. And if someone does answer, ask for the neighbor by a false name. See if they fall for the trap.
Hi, is Debbie there? Oh, she's not. Okay, well, thanks. I'll call back later.
Now, it's okay to do this type of investigation only when you don't place yourself in any danger. Now, what would you do if you found yourself in this position? You come home and find that your door is unexpectedly open. Now, your wife's out of town with the kids. Do you go in? No. Anytime you suspect you've discovered a crime in progress, don't investigate it yourself. Go to a phone. Call the police or sheriff's department. Suppose you can't avoid coming face to face with an intruder. If you holler, you might cause him to run away. But if he's armed, you might cause him to attack. Remember, he's scared too. Your best bet is to stand still and try to be as calm as possible. You know, your life is far more important than your property.
Take whatever you want. Tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you.
That's the right idea. At all costs, avoid a confrontation with an intruder unless there's no other way out. We've talked about observing suspicious activity, reporting it, and what to do if you encounter an intruder. Remember these key points. Be alert for any suspicious activity. Things you see and things you hear. Let strangers know they're being watched. Record complete details on suspects and their vehicles. Don't hesitate to call your local police or sheriff's department. Don't confront an intruder unless it can't be avoided. In some neighborhoods, neighborhood watching is a little more difficult, but it's always possible. If you live in a rural area, for example, where homes are far apart, it's particularly important to watch out for suspicious activity. One last thing, advertise what you're doing. Chip in and buy all-weather metal signs for the entrance to your neighborhood. You may even be able to get these from your crime prevention office of your local law enforcement agency. And put signs in your windows and doors, too. Why would a burglar want to invade an area like this that he knows is protected when he can find an easy, unprotected area somewhere else? Let the criminals know that the welcome mat's not out for them in your neighborhood. Hey, I'm on your side. Maybe.